It has finally been confirmed that talks between Red Bull's chief technical officer Adrian Newey and Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur did happen. These secret conversations apparently advanced to the point of negotiating salaries. But while everyone thought it was Adrian Newey who turned the deal down, it was actually Ferrari who ultimately chose not to go through with the deal. We're getting straight to the truth in today's video, so keep watching. There's been a lot of excitement about the future of Formula One's aerodynamic genius as he wraps up his last season with Red Bull, bringing an end to nearly 2 decades of collaboration with the team. According to Motorsport.com's Italian edition, Ferrari has recently stopped negotiations with the renowned 65-year-old designer, despite Frédéric Vasseur's glowing endorsement when he said, "Adrian has an impressive track record. He is the most successful engineer in the paddock. I don't know the statistics, but I would say that's probably it." Vasseur discussed the potential signing of the aerodynamics wizard in an interview with German magazine Auto Motor und Sport. He highlighted the challenges of revitalizing Ferrari's fortunes and expressed interest in leveraging Adrian Newey's expertise to improve the team's prospects. But he also outlined reasons why he remains hesitant about bringing the British engineer on board. He said, "It would be a serious technical error on my part if I didn't think about Newey. The question is different. Does he fit into the team? And what does he bring to the team for the future? This is not a surefire success. Sometimes 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, but 2.5. Newey is certainly an issue. How it is an issue for everyone. The main hurdle in the negotiations stems from financial considerations. Ferrari's CEO, Benedetto Vigna, is reportedly unwilling to meet Adrian Newey's salary demands, which almost reaches €20 million. This figure is deemed too steep by the Italian team. Not only that, the potential hiring of Adrian Newey could bring about significant organisational changes. Benedetto Vigna has voiced apprehensions about the 65-year-old's possible influence on Ferrari's internal structure, fearing he might exert too much control and disrupt the current dynamics. Personally, Adrian Newey may have reservations about leaving England, his homeland where he has spent the majority of his Formula One career. Since his early days at March in 1986, followed by successful stints at Williams, where he secured 4 drivers' titles and 5 constructors' championships between 1991 and 1997. And later at McLaren and Red Bull, Newey has always been based in England. This strong allegiance to his home country could play a big role in his decision-making process. Given the fact that they haven't been seeing eye to eye, recent developments have now linked Newey to Aston Martin, marking a shift in his rumoured next destination. While Newey keeps his plans close to the chest, in an F1 Q&A session with BBC Sport, Andrew Benson disclosed the actual reason behind Ferrari's decision to reject Formula One's highly sought-after aerodynamics expert. Newey was asked in an interview with BBC Sport last November which driver he most wished he had worked with, and he actually named Fernando Alonso, although I believe he has expressed similar sentiments about Hamilton. As for design chief Newey's future following his decision to leave Red Bull, the word is that the chances of him moving to Ferrari have receded significantly. Sources close to Ferrari have told BBC Sport that Chief Executive Officer Benedetto Vigna has balked at the level of salary Newey commands, and that there is a concern he would have too much power and could override the system inside the company. Senior sources in the sport say that Newey is actively engaged with Aston Martin at the moment, and that this is looking his most likely destination. McLaren remain another possibility. Newey, meanwhile, is said not to have made up his mind where to go. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his future, 2 teams appear to be well positioned to attract Adrian Newey, McLaren and Aston Martin. Both British teams seem to align well with the preferences and requirements of the esteemed engineer, with Aston Martin especially standing out as a potential fit. The CEO of the team, Lawrence Stroll, recently extended an invitation to Adrian Newey to visit their state-of-the-art facilities, underscoring Aston Martin's advancements and future aspirations. Financially, Aston Martin is well backed by Canadian billionaire Lawrence Stroll, who is reportedly willing to offer a salary of approximately €30 million per year to lure Newey away from Red Bull. This huge offer sets the stage for a potential collaboration between Newey and driver Fernando Alonso, whom Newey holds in high regard, potentially leading to exciting developments for the team. Discussions with McLaren and Williams seem to be less progressed compared to those with Aston Martin, positioning the latter as the frontrunner for Adrian Newey's next move. Joining Aston Martin would present a fresh challenge for the former March team member and could play a pivotal role in helping the team realise its ambitions in Formula One. Back at the Ferrari garage, Carlos Sainz has had a stellar F1 season in his final year at Ferrari, but Lewis Hamilton's impending arrival is expected to introduce new challenges within the team's dynamics. Sainz's exceptional performances this season might lead Charles Leclerc to question Ferrari's decision to bring in Lewis Hamilton. Former F1 team boss Peter Windsor suggests that this move could potentially stir up trouble at Maranello. Sainz is entering his final season with Ferrari, having joined the team in 2022. His place for the following year will be taken by Hamilton, who is ending his 11-year tenure with Mercedes to join the prancing horse. The Spaniard is determined to demonstrate to Ferrari what they will be losing after a strong start to the 2024 season. He claimed victory at the Australian Grand Prix in March and has since secured 3 more podium finishes. He currently sits 4th in the Drivers' Championship, just 4 points behind Leclerc. And Leclerc, who was celebrated as the hometown hero after winning the Monaco Grand Prix earlier this season, might find himself frustrated by Hamilton's arrival, as suggested by Windsor. During their 3 seasons together, Sainz has consistently been within a tenth of Leclerc's lap times, with both drivers often having closely contested battles in multiple races. In the 2023 season, the Ferrari teammates were closely matched, with Leclerc narrowly edging out Sainz in qualifying by a margin of 15-7. In the drivers' standings, Leclerc finished just 6 points ahead of Sainz at the end of the season. According to Windsor, Sainz's reliability and consistent performance, which have been valuable to the team, might prompt Leclerc to question the decision to replace him with Hamilton. This thought comes especially after Hamilton recently ended his 3-year winless streak with a victory at the British Grand Prix. On his YouTube channel, he said, "If Charles is usually a tenth quicker, Lewis will be confident he can handle Charles in the race. If it's the other way around, I can see Charles starting to get extremely annoyed by the whole situation and saying to Nicholas Tott, 'What have we done here? Why didn't we keep Carlos?' Even then, Carlos drove pretty well at Silverstone. If the car was as difficult as Charles made it look, then Sainz did an unbelievable job." Fred Vasseur is hopeful that the upgraded package his team has prepared for the upcoming weekend will restore Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz as frontrunners, starting with the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ferrari began the 2024 Formula One season strongly, with Sainz winning in Melbourne and Leclerc claiming victory in Monaco. However, their form took a downturn after Leclerc's home race triumph. They failed to score any points at the Canadian Grand Prix and have been outperformed by the other top 3 teams competing at the sharp end of the grid recently, which hasn't worked in their favour. Red Bull, with Max Verstappen behind the wheel, remains the team to beat, but Mercedes has secured victories in the last 2 Grand Prix races, and McLaren consistently poses a threat every race weekend. Ferrari has been trailing behind, and the upcoming update couldn't come at a better time for them. In the preview of the weekend at Hungaroring, Vasseur said, "This season we are fighting to the nearest hundredths of a second, and so Charles and Carlos must be able to give of their best and have confidence in the car if they are to get the best possible results in the race. Even more importantly, in qualifying when they need to push the car right to the limit. I am confident the package we bring to the Hungaroring will allow us to be front-runners." It remains to be seen if the upgrade proves effective for the Ferrari SF24. Even top teams can't be too sure whether their developments will yield more performance or less until the car is put to the test in a Grand Prix weekend. Vasseur went on, subtly admitting that their last few upgrades failed their drivers. "The week's break prior to Hungary has allowed us to take an in-depth look at all the data from the past 3 races. We found that our latest upgrade package did indeed bring the expected benefits in terms of aero points. However, it also had side effects that meant the car was actually more difficult to drive. We have worked hard in the factory, and so in Budapest, we will bring an evolution of the floor which we reckon will give the drivers a car that will allow them to drive to the best of their abilities." So, how far can Ferrari go without Adrian Newey around to make them a rocket? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.